Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Bangladesh High Court refuses to ban ISKCON, instructs government to safeguard citizens' lives and property. Deep depression over southwest Bay of Bengal headed towards Tamil Nadu coast after causing torrential rains in Sri Lanka. And Ukraine's power grid under massive attack from Russia. The Bangladesh High Court on Thursday refused to ban ISKCON. This comes after it was informed that authorities concerned have taken necessary measures in this regard. The bench of Justice Farah Mahboob and Justice Debashish Roy Chowdhury expressed satisfaction with the government's response and instructed it to continue efforts to safeguard citizens' lives and property. Massive protests erupted in Bangladesh following the arrest of Hindu monk Chinmoy Krishnadas Brahmachari on Monday on sedition charges. He was denied bail on Tuesday. On to some other stories. Sri Lanka continues to face severe weather conditions due to deep depression in the southwest Bay of Bengal. As per Met Department, in Sri Lanka, the depression was located some 110 kilometers northeast of Trincomalee at around 5:30 a.m. local time today. The death toll due to adverse weather has risen to 12 in the island nation, while 2 people are reported missing. Disaster Management Centre reported that over 330,000 people across 23 districts have been severely affected. It is expected to move slowly northwestward closer to Sri Lanka's east coast and likely to intensify into a cyclonic storm. Over 27,000 individuals have taken refuge in 267 safety shelters, while some 61,000 people have been relocated. The landslide warnings have also been issued to 9 districts by National Building Research Organisation till 7 p.m. local time. Meanwhile, relief efforts are underway with 2,700 personnel from the 3 forces deployed to assist the affected communities. Meanwhile, deep depression is expected to reach India's Tamil Nadu Puducherry coast in the next 24 hours as it moves near northwestwards. Met Department has said light to moderate rains at many places with thunderstorm and lightning at 1 or 2 places is likely to occur over Tamil Nadu, Puducherry and Karaikal area in the next 24 hours. Meanwhile, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin chaired a high-level meeting to review preparedness, deploying National Disaster Response Force and state teams to the vulnerable districts. India's Met Department also advised fishermen not to venture into the southwest Bay of Bengal alone and off Sri Lanka and Tamil Nadu coast till 30th of November. Relief camps, medical teams and 24/7 emergency operation centres have been set up to tackle the situation. Holiday has been declared for all school and colleges in Puducherry and Karaikal on Thursday due to heavy rains. And Thailand is facing major flooding triggered due to heavy rains, killing 1 person and displacing thousands of other people. About 60 schools have been temporarily closed as heavy rains warnings was issued by the country's Met Department, with continuous rain forecast across 70% of the province until early December. More than 500 soldiers and volunteers have been deployed to distribute relief kits and assist in evacuating residents to safer areas. Israel's military announced on Thursday that it had detected the presence of suspects in several areas of southern Lebanon, calling it a violation of ceasefire with Hezbollah. The Israeli military had urged residents of towns along the border strip not to return yet for their own safety. On Thursday morning, Israeli tank fire hit 6 areas within that border strip. State media and Lebanese security sources informed. The round struck Makarba, Vazani and Kashuba, Khiam, Teb and agricultural plains around Majum. all of which lie within kilometers of the blue line demarcating the border between Lebanon and Israel. Thousands of Lebanese displaced by the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah returned home on Wednesday. A ceasefire took hold, driving cars stacked with personnel belonging and defying warnings from Lebanese and Israeli troops to stay away from some areas. The truce in Lebanon could give reprieve to 1.2 million Lebanese displaced by the conflict and tens and thousands of Israelis who fled their homes along the border. The Israeli army has meanwhile announced restrictions on Wednesday on people's movement in South Lebanon after dark. Israeli army spokesperson Daniel Hagari advised Lebanese civilians to stay away from the area where Israeli forces are stationed.
Residents of Lebanon, as you have seen throughout the war, we do what we say. For your protection, we ask you to stay away from the area where our forces are. The ceasefire agreement is phased, and we will let you know when it is safe to return to the area.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres termed the truce between Israel and Hezbollah the first ray of hope in the regional conflict after months of escalation. Talking to media in Portugal, the UN chief said it is essential that those who signed the ceasefire commitment respect it in full. He also reiterated his call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza.
I would say the first ray of hope regarding the peace I received amidst the darkness of the last few months. I received it in Portugal, and it was the agreement to ceasefire in relation to Lebanon, and a moment of great importance, especially for civilians. And at the same time, I can assure you that UNIFIL, the United Nations Peacekeeping Force, which has been in Lebanon, is currently prepared to make its contribution to verifying this ceasefire with full commitment.
Moving on, Russia on Thursday conducted airstrikes on Ukrainian cities of Odessa, Kropotskaya, Kharkiv, Rivne and Lutsk. The massive strike involved the use of cruise missiles and drones that targeted energy infrastructure, leaving hundreds and thousands of people without power. Temperatures dropped to freezing 0 degrees Celsius across the country, pushing cities into darkness and cutting off heat to civilians as winters approach. Ukraine has declared a countrywide air raid alert due to incoming missiles. After the strike, Ukraine has disconnected several nuclear power units from the network. Russian Defense Ministry on Thursday said it destroyed 25 Ukrainian drones overnight over 4 regions. Russia claims 2 districts in the southern Russian region were subjected to a massive drone attack and 1 civilian was injured. Automaker Volkswagen announced it had divested from a factory that it operated in the Xinjiang province together with Chinese state-owned company SAIC Motors Corporation. The buyer of this plant is also state-owned auto company. What's behind Volkswagen's decision? We find out more from DW's Warda Imran in Berlin. Warda, this factory opened not even 10 years ago. What led to Volkswagen to this point?
Thanks for having me on. Well, the location of this plant was always quite controversial. It was set up in Xinjiang, the autonomous territory in the northwest region of China. The plant had an odd reputation because it violated a lot of Germany's own supply chain laws. VW co-owned this plant with SAIC Motors. And over the years, Volkswagen has defended the plant and said no rights abuses were happening in the factory itself, but it still faced a lot of backlash for this decision. The recent announcement was sparked by economic concerns, that's what the company says. And the plant, which had capacity to push out 50,000 cars annually, has not produced a single one since the year 2019. The German state of Lower Saxony, which is Volkswagen's second largest shareholder, was quite happy with this decision.
And how does this reflect on VW's presence in China?
Yeah, that's a good question. Volkswagen is in a lot of partnerships and collaborations in China. This joint-owned factory was proof of this close cooperation between the two industries. And as the announcement to shut the plant came, Volkswagen also announced it was extending its partnership with the Chinese partner company SAIC Motors by a decade to the year 2040. Even though the Xinjiang plant was making losses and jobs were being cut, the partnership between the two companies flourished. This comes at a tricky time, though, as just last month, the European Union levied hefty import duties on Chinese-made EVs, which Germany, by the way, opposed. The Chinese market and the innovation there is extremely important for Germany, and this deepening partnership shows that. Volkswagen and SAIC now plan to deliver 18 new models by the year 2030, including 2 special models just for Chinese consumers. And just by the way, SAIC isn't the only one. VW is in similar close cooperations with state-owned FAW Motors, JAC Auto Group, and an EV-only company, XPeng.
And finally, how does this pan out with US announcing tariffs on China and possibly European
That's
products?
what's so interesting, that there's so many moving parts in this story. China risks becoming increasingly isolated if the EU and the US both kind of shut it out and shun it with tariffs. On the other hand, individual companies and entire blockchains globally depend on flowing trade between these entities. China is a massive market that cannot be ignored. And for German car makers, it's a big deal. Christine Lagarde, chief of the European Central Bank, said that a trade war is in nobody's interest and would lead to a, quote, global reduction of GDP. She even questioned Donald Trump's approach and said, quote, how do you make America great again if global demand is falling? Lagarde is of the opinion that Europe should offer to buy more products made in the US, so it's kind of a balancing act. But one thing is quite clear. Things will become far more expensive than they are now in the US, and this may reverberate globally and drive up prices fast.
Warda Imran, thank you for those updates. Let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. The Lat Flower Festival, themed A Symphony of Colors, returns to showcase the city's beauty. The 9th edition will feature stunning displays centered on wild sunflower, symbolizing vitality. Decorated spaces throughout the city aim to attract year-end tourists. The festival celebrates the land's unique charm and regional strengths. Sweden's gang war has escalated, with criminals recruiting children as contract killers through encrypted messaging. This tactic evades police and fuels violence linked to drug market battles. Murder cases involving suspects under 15 surged from 31 in early 2023 to 102 this year. Authorities are struggling to curb rising shootings and bombing nationwide. Tokyo is hosting an annual exhibition showcasing cutting-edge powder technologies with 280 firms participating. The Shizuoka company is promoting fabric made from powdered resin and tea leaves. An Osaka startup uses AI to analyze food texture based on air bubble patterns. The event runs through Friday, highlighting innovation in diverse industries. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. International Film Festival of India 2024 closing ceremony today. And India's Prime Minister shares a glimpse of Indian culture globally.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked, we just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. India has climbed up 11 spots to be among the top 50 countries in the latest Network Readiness Index. India is now placed at 49th rank globally, up from 60th position in 2023. The NRI 2024 report maps the network readiness landscape of 133 economies based on performances in 4 different pillars: technology, people, governance and impact. The country's score improved from 49.93 in 2023 to 53.63 in 2024. Notably, India leads in several indicators including AI, FTTH, building internet subscriptions, mobile broadband internet traffic, among others. India also ranked second within the group of lower middle income countries after Vietnam, demonstrating significant digital progress with notable strengths in technological innovation and digital transformation. India's performance in NRI 2024 is the latest in a string of advancements in telecommunications sector. Over the past decade, the tele density increased from 75.2% to 84.69%, with wireless connections reaching 119 crore. Digital India initiative has expanded broadband access to rural areas, resulting in sharp rise in internet subscribers from 25.1 crore to 94.4 crore. Further, India launched 5G services in 2022, rapidly improving its global mobile broadband speed, ranking from 118 to 15. The country now aims to position itself as a leader in future telecom technologies with Bharat 6G vision. The International Tourism Mart is on its third day. The 12th International Tourism Mart in Kaziranga of northeast Indian state of Assam will end with a farm tour of familiarization. On Thursday, the ITM is an annual event organized by Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, to highlight the tourism potential of the northeast region.
It's fascinating experience. We saw some rhinos, some wonderful birds, and also different animals. It was very nice. And also tiger scratches we saw. So it was very nice.
We really enjoy all the hospitality of Incredible India, of Assam arrangement. We will give some business for the states, all the 7 sister states. So thank you. And we enjoyed the safari too. It's good.
We had a very good sighting of the rhinos, couple of rhinos, and also wild elephants and deer. And it is highly recommended for the people of India and abroad to come and witness this.
And now updates from the Parliament of India. Both houses of Parliament have been adjourned till Friday amid ruckus by the opposition members. Opposition is demanding immediate discussion on the alleged financial irregularities against Gautam Adani, violence in Uttar Pradesh's Sambhal and other issues.
2 newly elected members of parliament took oath in the lower house as soon as the proceedings began. Congress candidate from Wayanad, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, and Vasantrao Balwantrao Chavan from Nanded were administered oath by the Speaker, Om Birla. Both houses had to be adjourned shortly due to the continuous ruckus by the opposition. In the upper house, 16 notices under Rule 267 were rejected by the chair.
Allow me to take agenda of the day. We should not dishonor the spirit of those who gave us this constitution. No. There is no reason for us not to proceed with the house. Sorry. The house stands adjourned to meet at 11 a.m. on Friday, the 29th November 2024.
In the lower house, immediately after the motion for the extension of the tenure of the Joint Parliamentary Committee on the Waqf Board Amendment Bill was passed, the House had to be adjourned. The tenure of the JPC has now been extended till the last day of the budget session. With Vishal Baristo, Anil Thomas for DD India.
Jharkhand Mukti Morcha leader Hemant Soren was sworn in as the 14th Chief Minister of Jharkhand on Thursday. He was administered the oath of office and secrecy by Governor Santosh Kumar Gangwar. This is Soren's 4th stint as the Chief Minister of the East Indian state. He retained the Badhaid seat in recently held assembly polls. Soren's JMM-led alliance secured 56 seats in the 81-member assembly. The International Film Festival of India 2024 concludes today, beginning the 9-day celebration of the cinematic excellence to an end for this year. In many firsts, FTII along with SRFI hosted its first ever alumni meet where they felicitated the first 5 badges. DD India's Deepika Mahato had an exclusive conversation with FTII chairman R. Madhavan, who talked about the importance of such meets, cinema, IFI, OTT and more.
The 55th edition of IFI is witnessing many firsts, and for the first time, the FTII alumni also took place. We have the chairman and the celebrated actor R. Madhavan with us. So thank you so much for exclusively talking to DD India. For the first time, the FTII alumni meet was taking place here. How do you think, is this important? And we saw a lot of historical old movies as well. How does that make a difference when we talk about the new technologies and the kind of cinema that we are witnessing these days?
So the alumni meet was not just of FTI, it was SRFTI as well as FTI, and we got to meet the originals, the people who initially came against all odds. The reason I'm saying this is extremely important is because these technicians and actors and cinematographers in every department of films who joined these institutes have done so against all odds because they were looked differently by their family. I was just speaking to a few of them and they said they wouldn't get married because they wanted to pursue films in these institutes. But despite all that, so many of them have come back and have contributed to the institute and stayed relevant over so many decades. If we don't dip into their experience and wisdom, then I think we would have missed out on a lot. And I salute the initiative by the Information and Broadcasting Ministry to have them all together on a meet like this. Hopefully, this will become longer and more impactful in the years to come. And as correctly said by Brindaji, we probably bring them in the middle of the IFICI so that they can get to enjoy the film festival as well. I'm definitely looking to talk to all of them and get an insight into how we can make FTI, for instance, a world-class institute to such an extent that we have students coming from around the world vying to be part of it.
Rehnai Tere Dil Mein completed 25 years, and from RHTDM to Hisab Barabar, the cinematic experience has been really wide. When we talk about the commonality, what is it that you see? Because the times are changing, technology is changing, but what is that thing which is really common?
I think the ability to tell a story with conviction, without having to pollute it with many aspects of the commercial aspect of making a film or the constraints in which dates are available. If you have a story that has to be told and then going out and selecting the right people to tell it and finding equal passion amongst the people who say it, because like Subhaji said, it's a democratic process and as democratic as it gets. So if you have people who are equally interested in doing the project and the fact that they're all seeing the same film, that aspect of cinema can never change. It doesn't matter who you're making it for, which part of history you're making it in, how new and how technologically changed the vista is. That passion for telling a story has to be common, and if that doesn't change, then nothing will.
It's a very important message that I really want to hear from you, rather the viewers would like to hear from you. We all know that your son is into sports and you never forced your children to follow the same legacy that you've been following, you never forced them to come into cinema. Why is it important for parents to let the children do what they want to do?
I have only one child that I know of, so I'm going to speak to of Vedant, but I think it's very important for the parents to understand the circumstances under which they grew up, the information that was available to them, the safety net that they created for themselves does not hold true anymore. The youngsters are very smart. They spend more time reading. Let us say the cumulative amount of reading that an adult of my age would have done is far surpassed by the younger generation because they're growing up with screens. They're reading a lot more than what we are. So to give them a honest and a clear hearing, to make sure that they are able to express their opinions and their desires to you in a free manner is very important. And once you're assured of the fact that they're putting in enough of hard work, and I'm saying laborious hard work. If any child is just going to break rocks for 12 hours in a day and he gets up early in the morning just to break rocks, just leave him. He was going to make him a sculpture. I can promise you that. There's a saying that if you do 10,000 hours of something long enough, then you will become an expert, no matter how unqualified you might be. I think that's the lesson that the parents have to learn. If the kids want to follow a passion and they're ready to get up early in the morning to do that, and they're able to do that without you forcing them to do it, then they're in the right line. Just leave them be.
So lastly, you would be aware that Prasar Bharati has launched its own OTT platform, which is Waves. How do you see the arrival and the flexibility of options that we have in the market regarding the OTT platforms?
Well, I think they've had a huge impact in the kind of content that's being generated. They've had a huge impact on the kind of actors that are being appreciated by the country. I think Waves itself is going to give a lot of opportunities for people from around the country to be part of an OTT platform. And I'd like to congratulate them, and I wish them all the very best. I hope that they have the right team to select the content and then make this into a glorious effort. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So there you heard R. Madhavan talking about the cinematic experiences, what he's seen so far in cinema and what is the commonality. A message to the parents, specifically talking about the career of a child and the arrival of OTT platform. With camera person Ajit, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Goa.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to his social media to share a video of curated visuals displaying Indian culture celebrated over different regions globally, highlighting his tour to various nations. Prime Minister took immense pride in India's history and culture in the message.
मंगल बेला आई सबनु की दहरी पे दिल की बाजी है शहनाई सबने कर सारा
India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati has recently launched Waves, entering the field of OTT platform. Waves provides a complete infotainment ecosystem to digital media and OTT audiences. If you also want great content for free, then download Waves today. That's all for this edition of DD India Live. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.